both of you are entrepreneurs, and I thought it would be great to bring you all together to talk about your businesses, and the fact that I know Marsha, you was referred by Dawn.
Yes.
Yeah, so I know.
Lovely Miss Dawn. Hey, Miss Dawn, I know Dawn will be watching.
Okay, hi Dawn out there if you're watching and everything. Welcome. Um, let's see now. Let's who we want to start with, Glenn. Marsha. Let's
Um,
start with Marsha.
well, okay,
Okay,
okay.
Marsha, tell me a little bit about your business, where it's located, and what it is that you do exactly.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. This is so awesome. I'm Marsha Guerrier. I'm the founder of HerSuiteSpot. It's a leadership and business development agency where we support organizations and individuals looking to, one, organizations needing to raise and develop their next generation of leaders, and individuals that are navigating between employee and employer, working a full-time job, filling their wage gap through entrepreneurship. And Her Sweet Spot is really here to give them the tools, resources that they need in order to live full, balanced lives.
Okay, Rodney, what do you do? What do you do for your living?
Sure. So, thanks for the intro.
Yeah.
I am the founder and owner of Digital Dandelions Technical Solutions. We are a technical writing firm, and we help businesses grow and thrive through writing their business Bibles.
Okay, can you please explain what is a business Bible?
Sure. So, a business Bible is a document that you use to grow your business. So, that includes everything from how you do your sales, how you do your marketing, how your employees actually produce your product, or how your employees do the services that you need them to do. And most people, if you go to like the corporate world, they understand it as an operations manual. But since I help smaller businesses, they didn't like it was difficult for them to understand the importance of it. So I started marketing it as a business Bible.
Oh, okay. All right. Before we go on with this, Glenn, we have to pay some bills.
Absolutely. Hi, I want to let you know about some exciting events happening at the Black Spectrum Theater on Fridays. November 6th, reunion in Bartersville. On November 13th, Five Guys. On November 20th, The Great Parade. November 27th, Holiday Comedy Concert. Go to www.blackspectrum.net, select Season Pass 2020-2021. Enter your payment, or you can call us at 718-723-1800 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
TMI and Partners, where we add rhythm to your funding solutions, making sure you're in step to expanding your business. Go to tmium.com and select a smooth funding solution. Funding never felt so good. That's tmium.com.
Also want to mention, if you all like what you hear, like what you see, please send us a donation to Cash App, Our World Media, where your news reflects you and your community. You can also hear us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. Let's continue this conversation. Now, we was talking about this business Bible,
I
and
love it. I love the business Bible because, but think about it. When you open up a franchise at McDonald's, what do they
Mhm,
give you? They give you an operations manual. So you
mhm.
have something that you know that you need X amount of people. You need a manager. You need you know, these people working on the counter. You need another set of people working on, and so you've got job descriptions. You've got how they interact. You've got where to buy from, and so on and so forth. So I love the idea of a business manual, a Bible. It makes so much sense because it gives you the essence of that business. And why did you how did you come up with that, or why did you come up with even that name, Ronnie?
Sure, sure. So I come from a long line of entrepreneurs and hustlers. And like, because my grandfather, he had his own general store. My mother and my grandmother were running businesses. My father was running businesses. And prime example, so my father told me that I was going to inherit his newspaper and I was going to inherit his real estate business. However, while he wrote a lot of things down, I have letters from like when I was born, 1987. He didn't organize them into a business Bible. And when he passed, everyone was kind of running around trying to figure out what to do. And the businesses were just all put on hold. The only thing that I really inherited was a bank account. And, that's great, but I didn't really get the process for how to put money into the bank account, right? So I was inspired from that because I kept hearing the same sort of problem throughout the community. I went to school for engineering and specifically electrical engineering, but my expertise is systems engineering. So looking at a system, breaking it down into its parts and analyzing it and making it work, finding out how to make it work. That's my skill, my expertise. And every project that I was brought to, because my university actually sent me on a research expedition, I was doing that. I was creating operation manuals for everything, for every project that I was on. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna create my own writing firm, a technical writing firm, and I am going to create business operation manuals for people. However, when I go to a lot of small businesses, they don't really understand because it's more of a corporate thing. It's a corporate thing. When you're in corporate, they have everything is in order and you have a compliance and all those different things, and they have operations manuals. So I had to rebrand that into a business Bible because for the layman, we understand the Bible as something that we use to guide our everyday lives. So
That's
you're
true.
basically writing your business Bible, a Bible for your business to help your business grow and thrive. A lot of my clients want to sell to the government. And while they don't ask you for a business Bible, they ask you for a business Bible. They ask you about how you do your sales, how you do your marketing, how you do productions, everything. If you have a business Bible, you can knock that out in like 5 minutes and, be able to bid against any corporation confidently because you have a business Bible. And when a time comes when you want to retire, because a lot of my clients, they tell me they want to go and lay on a beach and, drink from a flute and like leave their children to do everything else like my dad intended for me. You have that business Bible, you hand that to your children and they have a manual on how to run their business. If they decide that they don't want to take up that business, they can sell it. You can't sell anything if it's not written down. If you don't have a physical something to sell, the business Bible, you don't have anything to sell because a lot of people, they're like, you know what, I just want to sell my business and go retire. You can't do that without a business Bible.
Very good.
Okay. Oh, that's
Very
very
good.
interesting. Marsha,
I love that.
can you tell me a little bit about your business and what you exactly do?
So what I do is probably the precursor to Ronnie, right? I help women establish and build their businesses, build their brand identity, and create structure and organization for their business. And most of my clients are working in corporate America. And so I teach them how to look at the structures of their corporate jobs and formulate that into their businesses, right? And in developing their brands and correlating it back to what they see in corporate America, and generally what they're running away from. Because like Rahni said, everyone's wanting to leave that 9 to 5, but the truth is you can't unless you have that organizational structure behind your business. I don't care what business it is. You could sell t-shirts all the way to actual professional services, but you need to, as a solopreneur, I teach a lot of my solopreneurs how to see themselves as corporations, writing out and documenting. I don't care if you are a one-man band, but you do 5 departments. You need to document that. And there's going to come a day, and I teach people how to think big and scale up and slowly begin to incorporate consultants into their businesses, how to build and create relationships that will help you expand and grow your business. And so Rahni is so dead on by helping people create that Bible, because that's an essential tool to even breaking the barriers of that, 4-figure a month, 5 figures a month, and scaling all the way up to 7 figures a month. In my professional career, I'm similar to Rahni. I work in fintech. I've been working in fintech for over 20 something years. And I have helped corporations, billion-dollar corporations, make more millions, make more billions. I decided years ago that, I need to take the skills that I've been using to help make white men richer to help make my community richer, right? And so I've been working with women and men. We are HerSuiteSpot, but we support men and women that are looking to build legacies, leave something for their family, and use and leverage the skills that they've acquired through corporate America, through their education, and from the streets to develop that income that will give them the financial freedom. And we do that through brand analysis. We do that through a lot of mindset work. So my company focuses on 4 main pillars of business, which is
what are they?
Mindset, money, marketing, and media. And we help you whether you are trying to advance in your career or through entrepreneurship. Those 4 areas are essential to advancing at any level, from any level. I believe strongly that media, and people often don't, people think I'm thinking about social media, and I'm not. I'm talking about this kind of media, getting interviews, even on blogs, podcasts, Facebook live shows. Those are all sources of media, newspapers,
Yes,
where you can show your expertise. I help clients become published authors through self-publishing, and to show their expertise so that they can be an authority in their industry and really scale and grow their brands and their businesses.
Oh, that's wonderful. I also see on your bio you have received a few awards.
I have.
Could you tell us what they are?
I have been fortunate enough to receive twice the Woman of Distinction Award from Nassau County. I have been a Woman of Power from the Ladies of Third Thursday organization that presented me with an award there as well. So I'm very thankful for people who recognize what I am doing and honoring me in that way.
Would you tell us a little bit more about both of those organizations? Because I think that is something that our viewers would like to know, and certainly would be behooved to know.
Yes, the first 2 is actually through our state senates or state assembly offices. So that's on the state level here in Long Island, where I live in my community. So those are the Women of Distinction Awards that are being handed out from our elected officials. I also am the founder of the Eva Jordan Foundation, a nonprofit organization where we collaborate often with HerSuiteSpot to put together programming to educate women and young children on topics of entrepreneurship, and also support the special needs community by giving out books and resources for families with children with special needs. So that's there. But the other organization, the Women of Power, that is Sharon Devon-Fleet is the founder of Ladies of Third Thursday, and you can find them here on Facebook as well. They do great things, really promoting, celebrating, uplifting women, and teaching them the power of media as well. And yeah, so check them out.
Okay, tell me, Marsha, what brought you to this path?
Oh my God, it's such a long story, but
Well, giving me a little brief scenario.
so I can tell you, it started 7 years ago with my first women's conference, and I wanted a space that I could create because as I call myself a serial entrepreneur, I've done many things. I have a degree in business management and entrepreneurship. And so I've started and stopped many businesses, but 7 years ago, I wanted a way to celebrate women and myself for the things that we were doing outside of corporate America and kind of a way to validate us. And I started with the then Women on the Rise Forum and Expo, where I brought together women, expert speakers on topics that related to entrepreneurship and leadership. And 7 years later, we've hosted over 700 women at our events and monthly workshops and all those topics. And it really came from a place where, I tell this story often. I was working for my company at the time, and it was a small startup. We got bought out, and next thing you know, I felt like I was left holding a bag with nothing in it. That's the ultimate dream for a tech company to get bought out by a larger corporation, and there was no show of appreciation. And in that celebration, I realized, wow, I need to find ways to help women of color trying to run businesses, taking side hustles and flex work in order to fulfill their wage gaps, right? And fill their wage gaps. And I wanted to use my skills and my abilities that I've acquired through my education and my years of working in fintech as an analyst to really help other women.
Okay,
Now,
go
let me
ahead,
ask you
Glenn.
this. What is this? It sounds like it's an annual event, and how often, what time of the year does it occur, and how can people find out more about this conference? It sounds very
We
exciting.
just wrapped up. It occurs every October, generally around the third week of October. This year we rebranded ourselves to the HerRise conference, and this
Okay.
year we went virtual as we know with 2020 where everything is going. We had 2 days of speakers, panels, keynotes, and celebrity guests that really help women transform themselves mentally and in those areas of, again, mindset, money, marketing, and media. You could go to herriseconference.com to see the previous speakers, and you could actually buy the replay to watch all of the great master classes, panel discussions, and fireside chats that we presented this year.
Great. Listen, I want to find out from both of you, Rahni, who's your target market, and then we come back to you, Marsha. Who would you say is your target market? Who are you looking to empower and to inspire and to achieve the goals of business, Rahni?
Sure. So my passion is STEM and technology and engineering, because that's what I went to school for. And even before I had gone to school, like when I was 10 years old, I was on my Windows, 95, like tinkering around with that. So I've always had a passion for technology. So my target market are businesses of color in the tech space and also in the skilled service space, because that's one of my other passions, community building. And you can't have a community without your baker, your butcher, your plumber, these skilled individuals who are oftentimes in their own right entrepreneurs, because you have your own plumbing firm. And I want to see them with better businesses, and I want to see them with businesses that they can pass off to someone else, because we need these skills, and we need these businesses to build our community.
Are
You
you
know,
working? I'm sorry, Glenn. Ronnie, are you working with the construction business as well?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
So like
I,
HVAC.
what I was
Yeah.
going to say is that what you're pointing to is establishing partnerships, relationships. I hear
Hmm.
that in both of your conversations. Both you and Marsha are about partnering, and you specifically, Ronnie, are talking about using the paths of other entrepreneurs in our community to
Hmm.
really work together, so that not only does that entity that you're working with rise, but those partnerships also rise as well, as
Hmm.
as 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 all of us rise together. And
Hmm.
I love that concept. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Yeah, and I also want to give out a shout out to Marls NYC. I have been in New York because I'm originally from North Carolina, and I've been in New York for since 2012. So I've been here for a while. I've naturalized, as they say. But I can honestly say, after joining Marls, they are Marls NYC. They've been very helpful in because it's very mission aligned, like you said. If we all work together, all boats rise together, right? So I want to give a shout out to them because they've been very instrumental in. That's actually how I met you, was through Marls. They've been very instrumental in help building my business and building the concepts that I need to help other businesses get where they need to get.
Great.
Okay, that's wonderful. Um,
Marsha.
Go ahead, Marsha.
Marsha didn't answer the
Okay, go
last
ahead, go
question.
ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I primarily work with individuals that work inside corporate America and running a small side business, generally service-based business providers that are looking how to brand and package their services beyond the entry level state that they have been navigating. And currently, with the year of 2020 that we've having and all the unrest, I have been working a lot with corporations to also help support their initiatives in diversity and inclusion, and having conversations with them to really talk about the data that exists to show that 65% of all new women are side hustlers, and minority women at that are the fastest growing, and they work for their corporations, and they need to start to find ways to support them in the workplace. There's some great studies that came out even this year that 1 in 4 women from McKinney, 1 in 4 women are at risk of leaving the workplace altogether because of the pandemic. And those are women that have not been furloughed, that are still inside of their jobs, and they're looking for alternatives to being inside corporate America with the pressures that are there. So I've been doing a lot of work this year in that space as well.
Marsha, I know because of the pandemic, um, podcasts have become popular, and a lot of women have engaged in this particular area of media.
Yeah.
And where do you see it going for the next 5 years? Do you
I
think
actually,
after the pandemic is over, do you still see us going in the same direction, ladies?
there's no turning back. My business has been digital for over 5 years now. The primary bulk of the work that I do and the people that I work with, while many are in the tri-state in New York, most are outside of New York, and so I've been Zooming for years, right? And I feel like people are finally catching up, and now because of the pandemic, they are unable to fight the resistance that they've had for going digital, right? How many people have been like, I don't need to go digital. I don't want to be on camera. I'm not combing my hair. Well, now every sister I know has a braid or a turban on, and I'm one of them, okay? So we don't have to worry about how we look anymore. We don't have to worry about how perfect our backgrounds are. This world has made it more acceptable, because before now, everyone was creating the pretty perfect digital landscape and persona for social media. And now, once everything was at a standstill, people were feeling, especially the influencers that were kind of faking the funk. They got to a place where it was like, all right, y'all, my hair's not washed because I haven't been out in the street yet, and I look a mess, but I have a message, and people realize now that the message is what people connect with at times more than the aesthetics.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I'm a millennial. I am the millennial. And we have been digital for a very, very long time. Like I said, when I was 10, I had my first like Windows 95, and I was tinkering around on that and playing on Nickelodeon.com. Like I was like one of the very, very first early adopters
Okay.
of this technology. And yeah, to your question, like podcasting is very, very low entry. Back in the day, if you wanted to get your business out there, you had to talk to like a television station or a radio station.
Right.
You don't have to do that anymore. You can just go on Facebook, or you can just go on YouTube. It's such a low barrier of entry, and it's not going anywhere. I don't even think it has anything to do with COVID-19. It's going, yeah, it's going this way, and it's
Like
going to stay this way.
The fourth pillar is media. And even before 2020, I was teaching women the importance of showing up via podcasts, via blogs, on social media live if you can. So this has just made it a little bit more okay for people that were afraid of it, because they didn't think negative about it. They thought you'd have to be a perfect, pretty picture. And now we're showing them as the craziest thing go viral nowadays, right? We're showing them it really is about the connection and authenticity of your message.
So the bottom line is the old school media is basically coming to a close.
And they know
No.
it. That's why they go.
No, I disagree.
But they're sharing. They
Okay.
know that there's a dance that they need to continue to make themselves. There's always a place for everyone, but they are in this game with us. They want to try and take over podcasting. Every major media outlet now has a podcast.
Yes.
Has a blog.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not that they're going away, but they realize the magic that we've created. Right.
But let me ask you this: how do you promote the partnership that we were talking about earlier via this media, the podcast and so forth? Because television or the traditional media doesn't really put that together. And as young businesses or growing businesses in this digital world, how do you connect with those partnerships? How do you give our listeners some ideas of how they can extend those partnerships using this digital media?
I would say that the old school way of doing things was really one directional. You put out a commercial, everyone hears a commercial, and they're like, wow, I want that product, and they go buy it. With this new media, it's bi-directional. It's conversation. And people really need to embrace like having those conversations with their audience. It's not just you giving a lecture to them. It's you like getting feedback and answering and commenting and those different sorts of things. So in the spirit of like building those connections, we have to have more shows like this. Like I'm definitely going to talk to Marsha after this, because her clients are going to need operation manuals, having these conversations and having being like Miss Marsha said, being more authentic, and because like Lady Pauline was saying, oh, is old media dead? And I don't think so. I think that it's evolving into something different, and there's space for everyone. And it's going to be an exciting time.
Do you know why I asked you that question? Is because in order to do what we're doing right now, 30 years ago, it was unheard of. I mean, somebody said this is big time stuff. you know, to be able to see each other. People communicate from different states, different countries. You know, you can see each other. That wasn't happening 30 years ago, and so this here has, you know, taken off just like that. In the last year, I would say, because of the pandemic. You know, we're in another Zoom. Even if you look at Channel 7, The View and The Talk, everybody's in little boxes, and I sort of, you know, feel like I'm part of everything now myself, you know, and I think it's a great thing. I love to see black women involved in this business and the new technology and everything. I have to remember to have you on for Women's Month. Women's Month, I think it's in March. It's March, right,
Yeah.
Glenn?
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely have to have you both back on to talk about everything again. Now, tell me, you talk about this Bible, this business Bible. Now, I wanted to ask you, what is the difference? I know I asked you earlier before we started the show. What is the difference between the business Bible and your business plan? Can both of you
So
tell me?
sure.
Well,
So the difference between the business Bible and the business plan. A plan is just like a brief letter. It's a one pager of
okay.
what's actually going on. And I mean, you should always have your business plan first because this is how you should execute things. But your operations manual, your business Bible, is something that you write after you've been 6 months to a year in business and you've seen everything that's going on. And you've been writing down some of the challenges you're facing. Then you put that together into a business Bible. There's some analysis. It's a system. There's
Okay.
some analysis that goes in there, and it's separated into like sales, marketing, so on and so forth. A business plan is just an overview. It's just literally just an overview, and it's usually something you write before you get started. The business Bible is what happens after you've been in business for a while and you have a good idea of how things should go and you want to grow. Then you write your business Bible.
Okay. Marsha, do you think most people even know about it? Because I've never heard it described quite like that, a business Bible.
I've heard it described like that before, but do people know about it? No. Do people know that they need to, you know, for the most part, solopreneurs, side hustlers, they do it out of a passion. So they start running, right? Then they're not thinking about the business. They're not thinking about operations, the administrative part. And once they start having to do that, they either quit or want to give up. They can't handle doing both at the same time. And that's why when I enter the scene as a business coach and consultant, I am giving them the support that, you know, I call myself a chief operating officer to my clients, because I'm giving them that support to help them work the business and understand the back end of the business, and teach them strategies and systems to put in place so that the business could run itself from behind the scenes with email automation and or onboarding clients automatically. So there are a lot of things we go through, but the business plan for me is more of a projection, right? It's a
Okay.
description. It's a description of your business and a projection of where you'd like to see it go and how you're going to execute that. And the business Bible is more of the actual execution part, right? And how you're operating and what are the moving parts and players that are helping the business in its current time operate.
Okay.
I'm gonna pay some bills, but I want to come back and ask about virtual assistants and how they could be used in businesses as you develop businesses. Um, Let me let you know that we have at Black Spectrum Theater, we have some great opportunities. We have a season pass. We've got 2 events left in November. November 20th, the Great Parade, and November 27th, holiday comedy concert. And then coming up in December, we've got Doo-Wop Love, December 4th. We've got 2 trains running December 11th, December 18th, the 70s, and then December 24th, Funking for Jamaica. Now, how do you find out about it? You go to www.blackspectrum.net, select Season Pass 2020-2021, and enter your payment method, or you can give them a call during the week, Monday through Friday, at 718-723-1800, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Back to you all. So, virtual assistants, how do they play a part in the growth and development of businesses, especially entrepreneurial businesses?
For solopreneurs, they save their lives half the time. When you have the right virtual assistant, right? Not every virtual assistant is built the same. Not every company is built the same. There is you have to run your business like a corporation, right? And if you are a senior level manager or executive manager, you're going to know some of the processes and some of the ways to select your virtual invoicing, accounts receivable, accounts payable. They'll help you in those areas of the back end, helping you at times create copy and creating your email marketing system in order to keep your customers and potential customers aware of what's going on in the business. And they're a great asset and a great tool for solopreneurs to have. And it's can often come at not often, it always is the case where you are spending money to make money. A virtual assistant, the functions that they form for you should actually be somewhat helping you make more money by giving you back the time for you to go out and do the thing that it is you do, market and sell your product or your service.
You know, Rahni, I'll let you respond and then I'll ask the question. Go ahead, Rahni.
Mm-hmm. So with virtual assistants or anyone that you decide to hire, because you're hiring someone, right. You need to have the best way to use them is to have them do a specific task. So you have to really sit down and think about, okay, what first of all, what are you good at? You know, with a lot of, as Marsha said, a lot of solopreneurs, they go into business only wanting to do what they're passionate about. But business is so much more than that. There's a lot of back end that has to be done. So to have that brain space, I with a lot of clients who I work with, they're like, oh, I don't have time for anything. Like, I need this. I need to build a team. You need to decide, like, specifically assign them what they need to be doing. Otherwise, you know, you're not going to get the best out of your virtual assistant. So I that's one of the biggest things with my clients, because I often have to help them hire and select a virtual assistant from somewhere like Upwork. What's the kind of work that you need to get done? What are your strengths are? What are your weaknesses? And how can you hand those weaknesses off to someone where they have those strengths?
I'd like to ask you something. Excuse me, Glenn. What happens if you are a new business and you really don't have that much money financially, but you still need help? What would you say you recommended?
Well, I recommend everybody figure out what the budget requirements are, understand how much money you need, and if that includes incorporating a virtual assistant, outline that and detail that, and reverse engineer it. I think it's a misconception that service-based businesses, especially because that's what I specialize in, don't need any money to start a business because you have a laptop already and a camera and you're in business, and that's not true.
Sure.
You need to budget just like a product-based business would have to fund their inventory before they actually make sales. You need to fund your service-based business in order for you to create the environment for you to go out there and make money. And I think I also do work with my clients to teach them how to find money. And there are ways to bootstrap. There are ways to provide services that will also give you a fast return. And I am such a fan of the crowdfunding place called iFund Women. It's called iFund Women, where they help you crowdfund to raise money without diluting any equity from your business, to help you with your startup costs. And if that includes hiring a virtual assistant for 1 year or 6 months or whatever it is you determine you'll have to spend, there are several ways you can what is called bootstrap your business, but it really has to start with your own money.
I realize that. And I think that's the honest truth. That you said. That's what I wanted people to really understand when you're listening to this show, that when you start your own business, you are actually really using your own money. And I think people don't realize that, or they don't want to believe it.
I think there's a misconception. People think that money comes from the sky. Someone tells people start a nonprofit because they're grants galore. No, it's not. You still need to have a human person, mind, body, and soul that's going to search for the grant opportunities and fill them out. And you're least likely to get it because you have no past performance to prove, right?
Correct.
And so there's so much that comes into it. And the misconception, especially for service-based businesses, that I have a laptop and I could just start my business tomorrow. No, you can't.
So let me ask this question. Where's a good source for virtual assistants? Because I've heard there are virtual assistants in, emerging countries. There are virtual assistants that are in the U.S. And I, as a Black entrepreneur, would prefer to deal with somebody who is also from African descent. Are there places that we could list or find out virtual assistants that look like me?
So I gave one example before. There's this a marketplace called Upwork. That's where I actually got started, was on Upwork. I actually got started on Upwork way back when it was Elance, back when I first got to college. And they're really good for finding any kind of work. So if you want to get more specific and you're trying to look for an online marketer to write your copy, you can just put in online marketer and you'll be able to find one. But if you just want like a basic virtual assistant who has a specific kind of skill, you can search for that as well. So they have really good search mechanisms that you can use. You can also specify if you want to have someone overseas, which you can save money by hiring someone overseas. However, the time will be different, so it'll be really hard for you to coordinate. Or you can, stick to the U.S. and Canada or Mexico or whatever. You have that option on Upwork. Another online marketplace is also Thumbtack as well, and you can find not just virtual assistants, but also different kinds of skills.
Okay, that's very good information, because I've talked to so many people that have started their businesses and so forth. Some go ahead and they make it, some fall by the wayside. But one of the things that I hear most people say, they still have to keep their day job. And I really want people to understand that you have to keep that day job until you get everything up and running. And so you have to learn to be able to balance, maybe a 9 to 5, and then do your other job in the evening or at night. But there is no other way to do things, except, you was left some money somewhere, and
Right.
if you was left some money, please send it to Our World Media. We have a Cash App, and we are taking any donations that you would like to give us. Nothing is too small or too great. So don't forget to send that to Our World Media, and it's Cash App, where your news reflects you and your community. Continue, Glenn. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So one of the things, that I love about this conversation today, especially, is that over the years I've run into some great creative folks, great ideas, great products, but they don't often know how to price it. They don't know how to necessarily market it. And both of what you ladies are talking about are infrastructures to be able to deliver the back end, the bookkeeping part of it, the accounting part of it, the systems part of developing the business, which is so important, and the relationships. I run a business improvement district, Sutphin Business Boulevard Business Improvement District, and one of the things that I got to see was that I couldn't do all of the bookkeeping that I would want with the treasurer asking for additional reports and analysis and so forth. So I had to, it wasn't virtual, but it could have been having a virtual bookkeeper in this particular case, so that person then interacts and does the bookkeeping services. So it's very, very important for us to identify what those pieces are and that we need to add onto our business. The other thing I was going to point to is I think Marsha talked about it a little bit before about um, getting certified as an MWBE, Minority Women and Black Enterprise. It's a very easy process. Well, I shouldn't say easy process, but it's a process that enables you to get access to city, state, and federal resources that can help to spawn your business. The Small Business Development Center at your college is one of the areas that provides that service for free. Also on Sutphin Boulevard at 9027 Sutphin Boulevard, we have the Small Business Support Center, which also will help you put together your the documents that you need to get certified. And oh, by the way, we don't want to forget the JFK initiative, the JFK redevelopment, which is another certification that's a Port Authority certification. But once you get the city certification, you can easily add the Port Authority certification to get that particular process. So I invite all of our listeners to really, really, really look to see. There are some services that are free that still remain to be free. But today's conversation is really about partnerships. Back to you, Lady Pauline.
Okay.
Rahni mentioned the work that she does with MWBEs, right? But I am a certified MWBE myself, small business enterprise certified. I'm certified with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, as well as New York City. And I have just completed a training, a 7-week business development training for National Grid. And in my work with corporations and my conversations with corporations, even corporations are looking to fulfill their percentages of supporting and working with MWBEs. And it doesn't always mean you have to be certified, but that certainly changes the conversation for you. And it really does help out.
Marsha, what is the process exactly to become certified? What do you have to do?
Everything that Rahni's Business Bible will put together for you. it's really pulling out and having, oftentimes like we said in the beginning, people start businesses and just run with it, and they don't legitimize their business, they don't legalize their business, and it really is just having you provide your documentation of your legitimacy as a minority, as a fully structured organization, whether it's an LLC, sole proprietor, or corporation. And it's really a way for them to know that you are thinking like a business, you're operating like a business, I should say. And it's really having every paperwork that you should have already in that business Bible, and just presenting it.
So basically, you have to show your incorporation papers. I guess you have to show your tax returns.
Documentation of your financials, your bank resolution, that you actually have a business bank account. And it may seem, when you're doing it, it may seem like something that is like, why do I need to see my bank resolution? But the truth is, many small businesses and many minority-owned businesses don't have business banking, don't have a legitimate structure and organization. Who is running the business? They want to know if you are engaged with any entities that may be restricted from participating as an MWBE. So there is a lot of due diligence and that goes around it, but there is a lot of paperwork. New York State Port Authority, I believe their paperwork is not too bad. Again, it's everything that you should have in your business Bible. New York State asks for a lot more. And even if you're not certified, you can actually register with the federal at the federal level. So I am also a federally registered small business to do business with the feds. Okay. So there's so much opportunity out there. And even as service-based businesses, people do not believe that there's opportunity for service-based businesses, but there's opportunity for any business. I mean, the government's looking for toilet paper, they'll put an RFP out and you could supply toilet paper. There's just so many things that you can do to work with any government agency.
Well, ladies, I love what you have to say. As a matter of fact, I hope the listeners enjoyed the conversation and got some information to benefit them if they're interested in starting their own business or they have a business. Glenn, well,
let me pay some more bills.
Yeah.
And before we wrap up, again, we have the Black Spectrum Theater season pass, and we've got 2 events left in November: the Great Parade, November 20th, and the Holiday Comedy Concert, that's November 27th. And then in December, December 4th, we've got the Doo-Wop Love. December 11th, we've got 2 trains running. December 18th, the 70s, and December 24th to the 26th, Funkin' for Jamaica. Now, how do you find out about this? You go to www.blackspectrum.net, select Season Pass 2020-2021, and you select your payment. Or you can give them a call during the week, Monday through Friday, at 718-723-1800, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Back to you, Pauline.
Yes, Marsha, how can people reach you if they need to?
You can find me on all social media platforms at HerSuiteSpot and through my website at HerSuiteSpot.com. That's HerSuitespot.com, and via email at info@HerSuiteSpot.com.
Okay. Rahni, how can people reach you?
Sure. So we are on Facebook and LinkedIn at Digital Dandelions. We also have a website, www.digitaldandelions.com. You can reach us there, follow our social media, book an appointment with me, talk about your business. I have become a business nerd, and I would love to just hear ideas and talk about how you would like to move forward. And yeah, thank you so much for having me today.
Yes, both of you ladies, after
Thank
this
you.
show is over, I'm going to be in contact with you, and I need a lot of information that you have given out today. Glenn, how can people reach you?
They can reach me at Sutphin Boulevard Bid, 718-291-2110 is the number. And ladies, I just want to thank you for being on the show. This was a very informative conversation. I love the conversation about virtual assistants and being able to augment the skill set that you have in order to grow your business. Because the truth is, we can't do it by ourselves.
No, we cannot.
Yeah.
And you've been listening to our world media, where your news reflects you and your community. And again, just a reminder, we have Cash App. Any donation that you would like to give to support Black media, radio, please give whatever you can. Nothing is too small, nothing is too great. Your news reflects you and your community. Thank you, ladies, very much for being on our World, Our Power show today. And thank you, Glenn.
All the best.
Thank
Ha-
you.
have a good evening.